Hi everybody, it's Mordecai from Queer Universe, and today's video, it's gonna be more pointed towards cis-het people, but of course anyone can watch this. So, I met someone the other day, and it was a therapist who I had not seen before because my mom wanted me to go with her to a therapy session, which is totally fine. I love going to therapy, it helps. And people need to be more pro-therapy, which is cool. I try to be that way. But I introduced myself to her, the therapist, after she asked about my service dog, which she also has service dogs, which she should know that, like, how about you ask the owner what their name and pronouns are before talking about the dog, asking what her name is and stuff. It's just a little annoying. Anyway, I told the therapist, hey, you know, my name's Mordecai, my pronouns are he, they. And her reaction wasn't the greatest. She was respectful and stuff, but she was just like, okay, like, that's not the reaction you should give to people who just tell you their pronouns right up the bat. Like, it's hard enough correcting people. It's also hard enough being like, hey, this is my name, and these are the pronouns I would like you to use. And we need to normalize that. We do. Because I should not be afraid to be like, hey, my pronouns are he, they. Not she, her. They are he or they. Pick and use them. Like, yeah, it's going to take you a bit to get used to it because, you know, you just met me and you think I'm a cis female. I'm not. I'm a trans male. Yeah. And this sounds like I'm annoyed at her only, but no, I'm not annoyed at her. Just people need to respect others' pronouns. Whether they are cis, or they're trans, or non-binary, gender non-conforming, whatever. It does not take any money from you. It costs $0.00 to respect people's pronouns and their names. Like, yeah, you're gonna slip up. It's okay. People make errors all the time. Just don't make an excuse out of it, like, oh, it's gonna take me a minute. Just say sorry and go on. I told you my pronouns. Accept them. Not that hard. You don't have to meet me with a, ugh, reaction. And I might be exaggerating a little, it's just, she was a bit distant when I was like, hey, pronouns are he, they. I don't do that all the time, but I would rather tell you up front instead of having to correct you the whole time, which, I mean, I did have to correct sometimes, which is fine. Like, I'm gentle about it, of course. I'm not gonna yell at you. It's just, it reminds me of the professor that I made a video about a month ago, 3 weeks ago, who would always be like, oh, sorry, I'm gonna err all the time, and just call me she, her, and then until, like, I confronted her as, like, if he is not comfortable, use they, them, don't care, and she just kept calling me Mordecai the whole time. Mordecai is not my pronoun. Mordecai is my name, it's a noun, fight me. I use fight me as just, like, my go-to phrase, but, like, I don't want to be, like, using up all my energy correcting people. Just acknowledge this is a male, and I'm gonna maybe slip up a few times. Just say sorry and continue. It's not that hard. But yes, as a cis person who's watching this, I mean, I know more LGBT people watch this channel because we're LGBT and we accommodate to other people who are of the community. If you're a cis-het person, cisgender, heterosexual person, or you're just cisgender and you're gay, lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, what have you, use your pronouns too. Be like, hey, as a cis woman, my pronouns are she, her. Or as a cis male, be like, hey, my pronouns are he, him. So that way, like, it normalizes that for a trans person, or a non-binary person, or a gender non-conforming person, to be like, hey, you know, these are my pronouns too, he, they, or she, her, and they, them, They don't always have to go by they, them. They can go by it, its, which is fine. People need to realize that it may be dehumanizing, but it's like when people use the term queer for themselves. Not everyone's going to use it, but people who use queer, like myself, identify that way, and you refusing to acknowledge that they identify that way is just as bad as using the wrong pronoun. Like, just use it, its. If they ask you to. If it asks you to, use it, its pronouns. And it's harder to say it, its than they, them. And it's the learning process. I'm not, like, gonna say, oh, we'll beat you up and harass you for using the wrong pronouns. No. Like I said, I correct people gently. And other days, like, when we're in the therapy session, I'm fine with correcting multiple times. But trans people, non-binary people, gender non-conforming people, we have our limits. And, like, some days we don't feel like correcting people all the freaking time. It's exhausting. And it uses energy. And just because we're not correcting you all the time doesn't mean you can get away with using the wrong pronouns. You need to be held accountable. And you need to be able to do it yourself, instead of having that person correct you every single time you use the wrong pronoun. And, you know, it's like taking the training wheels off. Like, there comes a time when the reciprocating person who has learned this other person's pronouns has to do it themselves and just be like, hey, I messed up on your pronouns, I acknowledge that, sorry, your pronouns are this. It's not difficult at all. It takes a bit, yes. But like anything, you can get there. You will get there. And you really need to be aware that not every trans person is going to feel comfortable correcting you all the time. And hopefully that person, because like with myself, like I know it takes a bit and like I'm patient with the people, especially like if they mean something to me. If they're like a loved one and family or friend group, I'm more understanding, more patient. Hopefully that those people are also like understanding that it's going to take a minute and not get really defensive. Sometimes there are days when we're going to get defensive. That's because like if we have dysphoria, that's going to contribute to it, and it gets overwhelming. So hopefully both sides can be understanding of each other. Just please use the correct pronouns. Yeah, you're gonna mess up. Just acknowledge it, apologize, move on. Don't make a show of it, which, it's annoying. But you're trying. That's all that matters. And you will get there to where it's just easy to call them the correct pronouns without messing up. So yeah. That's all I wanted to say for this video. I'll see you in the next video, which will come out tomorrow on a Thursday. Sorry this is uploaded on Wednesday. I just felt drained on Tuesday and was like, hey, I want to make this video, so there you go. It was important and I needed to say something. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe. Bye.